I go to the penitentiary in 1987 at 23 years old. And at 27 years old, 4.5 years later, they parole me, and I walk out of the gates. I'm still a ninth grade high school dropout, still no education, but now I'm a convicted felon to boot, so there's not a lot of opportunities. End up making about 2 years, ended up hooking up with some guys actually I met in the penitentiary, getting involved in some crimes with them, and going back to the penitentiary a couple of years later on gun charges. Did about 2 years, I got released again. Now I'm 30 years old. I'd given up all of my 20s to the penitentiary system, and at 30 years old I get out, and I'm still a ninth grade high school dropout. I still don't have no skills, no education, no nothing, and I'm a 2-time convicted felon. So I get a job in the telemarketing industry. Now, I should have known right away when they hired the likes of me, it was probably a bad sign, right? I should have been questioning their judgment. But everything worked out great for about 18 months until one day the feds showed up and everybody went away in handcuffs. The next thing I knew, I was facing federal charges for money laundering and mail fraud, and ended up doing 7 years on the federal situation. So during that last 7 years, though, I kind of had that moment of clarity, right? That moment where we define ourselves, that epiphany, if you will, whatever it is. And it all came to me on June 10th of 1996. On June 10th, 1996, Brad, in fact, I was just a few miles from here in Northtown, Las Vegas, in a federal detention center. And on June 10th of 1996, one of the cops walked in and told me to call home. There'd been some type of emergency call. And I called home and I found out that my father had unexpectedly died at 59 years old. And in that moment, the moment that I learned my father had died, I was 32 years old, third time back in the penitentiary. The moment I heard that my father was gone, I realized that my father went to his grave with me in the penitentiary again as a thug and a punk and a loser. And so I decided I was going to change the course of my life. I started thinking about my father, and I started thinking about a conversation I had with my dad just a couple of weeks before he passed away. It was a Sunday afternoon, and I called my dad collect, and as he did, he always took my collect calls. And I'm talking to my dad, and I'm belly aching. I'm complaining about my life. I'm blaming my ex-wife. I'm blaming the police, the snitches, all this stuff. And at one point, my dad just got sick of the whole conversation. And he said, "Son, your life could be worse." I said, "Dad, how could my life be any worse? I'm 32 years old. I'm a 3-time loser. I'm not getting out of the penitentiary this time till I'm 40. I've never had a job, never had a home, don't have an education." And my dad says to me the words that changed my life. He said, "Son, you're still breathing. And as long as you're breathing, you've got a shot to change your life." And not realizing the significance of what my father said, I said, "Thanks, Dad. I love you." We hung up the phone, and I never talked to my father again. That was the last thing he ever said to me. You're still breathing, and as long as you're breathing, you got a shot to change your life. 2 weeks later, he was gone, and I made that decision that I was going to change the course of my life. I didn't know where to start. Where do you start? 32 years old, 3-time loser, 9th grade education. Where do you start turning that Titanic of a life around? So I got the bright idea. My big master plan was to start reading and studying. And I decided to read what really successful people did in life and start doing that, right? So I tell people I started with the Bible and I ended with Tony Robbins and read everything in between. And I learned from the masters through their books and their teachings. And I began to learn a few lessons that really started to resonate with me. I remember the first inkling of this I got was I was reading some Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche said that we attract that which we fear. And I thought to myself, well, that's just nonsense. Why would I attract things in my life that I fear, that I don't want? So I just kind of ignored it. And then a couple of months later, ironically, I'm flipping through the pages of the Bible, and I come across this scripture in Job, where Job says, "Father, that which I have feared has come upon me." And I thought, you got Nietzsche on one hand, who's an atheist. You got Job on the other hand, who's a godly man, separated by thousands of years, and they're saying the exact same thing. That which I have feared has come upon me. We attract that which we fear. So I thought for a moment, what do I fear most in my life? Well, what I feared most in my life was being broke and homeless, living and wasting my life in the penitentiary. I had a 3-year-old son by that point that I had fathered when I was out on parole, so I feared never knowing my son, never being a father. And I looked around me and I realized that I had created that exact life in my real life. Somehow all the chaos in here was getting out and showing up in my real life. So I decided I got to change what's in here. I got to change what I'm thinking about. That old famous Emerson quote, "We become what we think about all day long." And so I wrote out for me what a perfect life would look like, and on a sheet of paper, and I stuck it to the wall in my cell with toothpaste. And for the next 7 years, every morning and every night, I would study that list, visualize that list, imagine what it would be like to be that man. And 7 years later, I walked out of the penitentiary, and my mind was different, right? You change the way you think, you change the way you feel, you change the way you act, you change what you get. 7 years later, I walk out of the penitentiary to a homeless shelter at 40 years old. I get a job selling air conditioners, but I got the right mindset, right? I'm still a ninth grade high school dropout. I'm still a 3-time convicted felon. I'm 40 years old. I've never had nothing in my life, but now I got the right mindset. That's what that book, The Power of Consistency, is all about. How to create that mindset. You know, a lot of times we look at people like Brad, we look at successful people, like, wow, they have these great optimistic outlooks, right? They're always positive. You're not just blessed or cursed, to have or not have that mindset. You can create the mindset. And that's what I learned, right? I remember one of the first books I read, Stephen Covey, who became a very close friend of mine, actually endorsed my first book, which was called The Upside of Fear and The Power of Consistency, before he passed away. But Dr. Covey wrote that you can live out of your imagination rather than your past, right? And my past was pretty bleak, but my imagination was big, right? So I get out of the penitentiary, I get a job, I do that for a year, I open a little heating and air conditioning company because I'd gotten a job selling air conditioners. And within 5 years, I grew it to $20 million in revenue. In 2009, that company was selected by Inc. magazine as one of the fastest growing small companies in America. That was the year I wrote my first book, The Upside of Fear. It was selected as Writer's Digest Best Independent Book of the Year, New York Book Festival Best Autobiography of the Year. And all of a sudden, the phone calls for the speaking and the opportunities started coming in, and that changed everything. I am a product of a really bad mindset for 30 some odd years, and the product of a really good mindset the last 20 years. The first 7 of those 20 in the penitentiary, right? But those 7 years, even though I was in the penitentiary, they were wonderful years. I grew spiritually, emotionally, I learned who I was and what it took to be successful. 14 years ago, Brad, I'm living in a homeless shelter. And today my life it's hard to describe. It's all a product of the mindset.
Unbelievable. Now, see, you guys are complaining about your girlfriends cheating on you. You're talking about you can't, your car's got a little bit of trouble. How about getting out of prison? What, did you say 3 times?
Yeah, 3rd time at 40 years old, living in a homeless shelter.
And by the way, once you go to prison, you kind of become, or a lot of people become institutionalized to where when they get out, they really don't know how to function.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's throwing some extra, adversity towards you, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So would you say it's all based on how to create the right mindset?
Absolutely.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
So what is it you do? Let's see what you do. Can you read my mind?
All right. So
it's probably easy for me because it has to do with business, money, or helping people make it.
Yeah. All right. So that's actually what I want to try is you have cash on you, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to guess how much cash you have on you right now. Now I want you to tell everybody. We haven't set this up. I mean, we literally just talked as soon as you walked in. So I'm going to ask you one question. Did you spend more than $30 in cash today? In cash, not card or anything.
No.
Okay. So I'm going to write this. Right, so no one can see here.
I don't even know how much cash I have on me.
This might be a little sloppy. I'm not looking here. Okay.
I don't know how much cash I have on me.
All right.
Do you?
Maybe. Hopefully this is close.
If you're wrong, this is live. There's no editing.
Well, hopefully. All right.
You talking about cold hard cash?
Yeah, just cash.
But cash, because I remember there was a little bit of cash in my car that I threw in this pocket. I know I have some cash in this pocket, and then I got some cash in this pocket. So is this going to be all the cash I have?
Yeah, all the cash you have.
No way.
So go ahead, count it right now.
Let's see here. Hold the horses. Let's see here. We've got...
You can't see through this, can you?
I cannot see through that. We've got one crispy dollar. We've got another crispy. There's 2 crispy dollars. Does it have to be folded correctly?
No.
2 crispy dollars. There's a 20. So there's $22. Hold your horses. I know there's some more back here. Hold on. Again, I was getting out of my car and I dropped it. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 28. Then we'll see. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Oop, they're stuck together. 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. Is that right? Shit, I ain't counting this over. If you're even close,
What was that, 85? 8,500?
I think this is 8,500, but you want me to double count?
No.
How much is this?
Do you have
20,
any more?
21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
Do you have any more?
I don't believe so. No more.
Really?
Do I?
There's really no more?
I don't believe so.
How much? What is that, 85?
I'm going to count it one more time. One more time, folks. If he gets this number, I don't know what you're selling, but I'm buying. So we'll go 20.
Just count
1,
that.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 26, 27, 28. There's 28. Now, I believe this is 8,500, but let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. What did I say? 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. It's $7,528.
All right.
$7,528.
So I'll tell you, I'm not always right, and it's kind of sloppy because I actually did think you had 85 at first. What was it? 75-28.
75-28.
I kind of.
You see that? 75-28. That's ridiculous, dude. Did you tell him something? You wouldn't know how much money I had.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
Believe it, and I started